welcome to You Can Too. We're gonna do another episode with my wife here, just chat about the endeavors that we had lately and how her being a stay-at-home wife. I think the biggest thing is the support system, right? Because man, things could get pretty chaotic, pretty stressful with a lot of things going on. Hey, babe, how you doing? How's your
I'm
day
good.
today?
Good. It's been crazy with the rain, but really good.
Yeah, we've had quite a bit of rain, but I guess it's the season.
Yeah. Um, Not just stay at home wife, also stay at home mom.
Yeah, yeah, we got some couple terrorists downstairs. You probably hear them. But man, I guess one of the big topics that I was thinking about talking is, I think here they come. But one of the big topics that I was thinking mostly is how she functions as a support system for me, right? Even though she's got, I'm big. I I don't know. I don't want to say that I'm machista or masculine, right? But I'm big on roles, right? Our roles are different and equally important at the end of the day. Not to say that my role as a provider is not as important as hers as a nurturer, or more or less important. But man, I think at the end of the day we have to complement each other, and I think she understands that, and I'm really grateful for that. But I don't know if I ever told you, but
You do.
one of the biggest things is I don't. I mean, I could if I'm sleeping, I don't have to take care of the kids, which I every once in a while I help, I guess, right?
You do. You do a lot.
But
More than you think.
I think I see this through a lot, and I think I met some people that they wanna endeavor in whatever their mission is, whatever their goals are, whatever their mission is, they want to jump on it. But to me, it seems like it could get very chaotic, very stressful, right? Sometimes it seems like I have no time for you or for the
Yeah.
kids. But I mean, what makes it? What is something that makes it that you would say, oh well, he's doing this. What justifies it in your eyes? Like what
I
makes
mean,
it?
it's
What makes you? I don't know if I'm even saying this right. What makes you? What makes it?
like a question like your time with the kids
No,
and
not.
me or.
I wouldn't. I've always said this, that my time with the kids is to be impactful, right? I
Mhm.
don't need to spend 100 hours a day or the
With
full
them.
day with them. I think because I mean we've done it, right? I'll take
Right.
them for a couple hours, and we'll go do hunting or shooting or whatever. Especially like Emiliano and Ethan, the two boys. But so I mean, so yeah, my biggest thing is like
I know. Same.
how I wouldn't say justify, but how do you bear with it? How do you understand that? Oh, I mean, was it a growing process? Was it a process
It
for you to
was.
understand it, or has it always been? Because I've always been
I.
working out. I mean, not working out physically, but like working
Yeah.
outside.
Well, it was hard at the beginning, and I think part of it has to do like maturity because we were together, you know, like really young, and at the beginning it was kind of lonely, for me as a mom of one. I just had Ethan at that time, and that did kind of, like hurt in a way. But I mean, I understood that he had to be out for work, so I couldn't make a huge deal and be like, oh, I need you to be home, and what are we gonna eat? What are we gonna, pay the rent? And I knew you had to work.
Yeah,
I was a stay-at-home mom, so it was kind of like a.
not always. You work for like
Yeah, I
what,
did
a couple
work.
months after we moved in together.
But I mean, it did grow on me, and as I grew and as I matured, I understood that is things that adults have to do. You have to work, you provide, and um, I mean, like you said, we have roles. My role is to take care of the house, take care of the kids, you know, um, and not to be like, oh, like
Feminist.
feminist, or I mean, yeah, but at the same time, it's like I understand your role and how you. Yes.
What
Well, I'm
happened?
not dad, but
One of the terrorists. Come here. Here comes the youngest. We don't. He when he was little, he used to be. He never cried. He never did anything.
he was the
Now,
best baby ever.
now he's
A little Chucky.
Chucky. Say hi. Turn around. Say hi. Then for a little bit, okay? You're gonna owe me some burpees. Oh, now he loves me. Go downstairs, Bobby. Be careful.
I think it was just part of like growing and understanding our roles as a family. I had to do my part. He does his part. You do your part. And I understood that you had to go out of town because we were in Texas at that time, and he had to drive all the way to Oklahoma. And you know, it got to the point where it's like, okay, well, he has to work. I mean, I can't really do anything about it. I'm not gonna fight or argue it because I know that he's the one that's bringing the income home. If that makes sense. So, I mean,
To me, it does.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it should to anybody.
You're gonna ruffle up some feathers with all the feminists.
Oh, well, I really don't care. It's my family, and it's how, I mean, that's how we go. And same here. I mean, when we moved to Oklahoma, there's long hours to your job, and I really don't fuss.
Well, at the end of the day, I don't think you ever fuss because there's, before when I used to frame, I mean, there was really, I think, I wouldn't say there was no purpose, obviously, but I guess there was no purpose in mind. Or then maybe there was, I don't know, but I mean, still,
I've-
we're going
I've
back to the
met-
topic of going out and working all a whole week and then
Yeah, and
coming home.
I've met a couple of ladies that don't like that for their husbands to be out working, after 6 and such, and they make a huge deal. And I don't think I've ever been like that, where I like argue with you because you're not home enough.
Yeah.
I feel like if you have to work and
I think we
late,
really,
then
you know, I think it's a biblical, to me, very biblical the way we our relationship is, right?
yeah,
Like I said, I'm the provider. I don't want to say I'm the breadwinner because that could always change. It's not about money at the end of the day. I mean, that's one problem that we all tend to have is money. But it's not 100% about the money. But I think in an aspect is I'm the provider. I'm the one that's gonna solve the big problems, the major problems. I gotta make sure you guys are fed. You got a place to stay, and I'm the one that has to, in a way, make their dreams come true,
right.
right? And to me, you are and will be the support. The Hey man, well, I mean, we didn't make it to this dream this year, but well, I'm here.
Yeah,
We'll make
I
it.
mean,
We'll
we're
make
gonna
it.
keep
We'll make it on the
trying.
next one. You know. I
Yeah.
mean, and this topic comes to mind because, I mean, you saw how. I mean, I've always joked, and I think out of a joke, it's actually very true that I tend to work better under pressure, right? And I tend to function a lot under pressure. I've been under pressure for many. I think that's one of the biggest things. Critical thinking, critical problem solving is one of the things that I like to. I get excited. It's thrilling to me to have an issue and have to solve it right away, or having use my brain. And even though it takes a toll on me, I mean, I think this past week I've been it took a pretty good toll on me to the point where I even last week I questioned you. I asked you a question. I said, "Man, I don't know if it's worth it." I said, is this worth it in every aspect of it?" I said, "Is this, I hear the analogy of the fisherman. I don't know if you heard that before.
No.
The guy goes. He's like a rich person, goes down to the ocean or the beach, and he meets a fisherman, and he's like, "Oh well, I'm a fisherman. I go out, I fish a couple of fish, take them home, drink a beer, hang out with my family, right?" And the wealthy guy, the businessman's like, "Well, why don't you fish more, hire people, buy some boats, create this fleet, and in 10 to 20 years you could sell it and you can go home and drink some beer and relax." It's like, well, I'm doing that now, and that's good. I think that's cool for everybody that kind of steps into the financial freedom. Everybody has their own definition of financial freedom, but it is April. It is Autism Awareness, and man, with having two kids that are on the spectrum, I don't think I don't want to say I feel pressured because I don't feel pressured at all. But I feel the need, that I guess that's a better word, the need, the desire to provide more for them, to not be so limited. And it's not about material things, right? But when you take your daughter who's autistic to meet a princess at Disney World and you're able to buy her a dress that she wants, that's something that nobody's gonna take away,
Right.
right? Because she wears those dresses like no
Yeah,
tomorrow.
and it's not just that. Like, there's so many families with kids on the spectrum and very limited resources,
Yeah,
and money does help. I mean, therapies are very expensive, and not a lot of insurances cover ABA therapy. And it's something so fundamental for our children's growth to have early intervention. So, I mean, in other words, money does help a lot. So,
yeah.
um, I mean, I feel like your pressure, it's like trying to make it so your kids can have a better future,
Yeah.
especially having two kids on the spectrum. And it's really hard. But yeah, it is April, and April is Autism Awareness Month. And
And Ethan turns 13 tomorrow.
yes, he's gonna be 13 tomorrow.
Yeah.
He's our firstborn. That's crazy.
We might bring him on here in a bit.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but I think, going back to the relationship part of this, man, I don't see, and I mean, to each their own, right? But one common denominator that I see in successful men is that there's a wife, there's kids, and there's people that understand, right, behind them. Or maybe I don't want to say behind them. I don't want to get nobody upset. I mean, next to them, right?
Yeah.
Making the moves. 'Cause at the end of the day, right, when I come and I have a stressful day and I got to make a big decision or whatever it is, we talk about it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we talk about it. You give me your input.
Nothing's easy in life. That's what people sometimes don't understand. Nothing's easy in life. You have to be stressed. I mean, that means you're doing something.
Yeah.
If you're not stressed, then you're probably not doing anything.
Yeah.
I mean,
And if you're not
nothing is
moving
easy.
forward, you're going
Exactly.
backwards.
And like you said, you like to work under pressure and you like to feel the pressure and all that. I mean, that means you're just doing something with your life. And like I said, nothing's easy. Nothing comes easy. There's going to be pressure. There's going to be,
So how do you cope with it?
I mean, I try to be there for you as much as I can. Try to give you the best advice that I can. I feel like you coming home to a clean house, good dinner, kids fed, kids, waiting for you might help
I think it does.
after a stressful day at work or
Yeah.
whatever, it's going on. So that's how I try to like help around. I know I'm not doing anything financially, but at least I try to do that. I try to do my part,
Yeah.
for you to come home to a nice, clean home.
Your non-feminist part.
I mean, yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
I mean, I don't know. I hear these stories of people that are like, oh, well, you spend too much time doing this. And like, well, I mean, what do you expect to eat? What do you want to?
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
I mean,
really
it's
get
either
it.
it's either we float or we sink. And if I ain't doing something, if I'm not rowing the boat, we're
I
sinking.
just know that you have goals, and I have.
Do you
goals.
think that helps out? Do you think me telling you my goals and knowing that, okay, so he might be out. We planned. What was the last thing? Oh, the last thing that I missed was and I kind of felt bad about it. Everly's dad and what was it? What was it called?
It
Breakfast.
was a breakfast for.
Breakfast with dads and she said we talked about it like 3 weeks prior.
Yeah.
And she's like, hey, you gonna make it? And I said, yeah, I'll make it. I can't miss it for sure.
So
And-
Everly's like his everything. Nobody can touch her because and he missed it, so and he felt horrible. But anyways,
And then,
we understood why, because he had to fly to Dodge City, Kansas for work.
Yeah. And then she's like, well, they're going to put somebody else as her dad. And I said, no, don't take her to school. I said, she's not going to school.
Well, not as her dad, but somebody to be there with her.
Yeah,
you know,
but
because
if
it was just
a dad and daughter thing, like, I'm not going to let somebody else. I'd rather her not go to school that day.
And she
know?
did not go to school. And he, in fact,
No.
did call me to make sure that she was home. But I mean,
But
I
like something like
understand
that, you know, exactly.
I
Like,
understand, because there's priorities. I mean, she is our priority. I don't want to,
yeah.
But I understand that you can't really, it was out of your hands. You had to fly to fix some problems in Kansas, and you couldn't stay. So she stayed home. She stayed home.
Yeah, and I feel like somebody else would have been, it would have been like almost a divorce for the way I see it, the way I picture other relationship. But I think
for other people, for other families.
yeah. So in a scenario like this, do you think, you understanding what the mission is? I think the clarity of the mission is what keeps people involved and informed and attracted, and the biggest thing is willing to make that sacrifice, right?
Right.
So if I tell you, hey, I just want to have $1 million. It's like, well, what are you gonna do with the $1 million? Which I don't. I mean, I don't. I just want to be able to live free. But I think that's one of the biggest things. 'Cause obviously, we talk every day. Even if it's before bed or something. Like, I have this vision in my head that involves. You can too, and it's gonna happen. It might not happen today. It might not happen tomorrow. But I think you have that same vision. I understand that it might not be your vision, and I really thank you for helping me out with this, for coming on here. But you know that it's something good and something sincere.
I know that it's something that you want in life, obviously, to be financially free, which is what you're working on, and that includes us, because we're a family. So of course I'm going to support you, even if it might not be what I want or like my goals, but in the future, whenever you do reach that point where we're financially free, then I'm set for me to go and reach my goals, or for me to, do whatever I want to do in life once my kids are grown.
Even just us do whatever we want to do in life.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I don't mind being home with my kids. One, because I have 2 kids that are on the spectrum, and I want to be there for them as much as I can. Because if you live the journey that we do, you would understand. I feel like sometimes people don't understand because, they see Everly and Ethan and they're like,
they're not
no
on
tiene
spectrum.
nada, se
There's
miran
nothing wrong.
normalitos.
Yeah.
And that's kind of hurtful, because it's like, if you knew how much my kids struggle, then you would understand why I choose to stay home, why I choose to support you reaching that goal that you want for us as a family. And you do what you got to do. I'm going to stay home with my kids and teach them what they're, to learn whatever they need to do to succeed in life. Because for us, it might be easy to like pick up a fork or write or read or whatever. But for my kids, it's not, Ethan's 13. He's in middle school. He's about to be an 8th grader. He still cannot read or write.
And it's so crazy how Everly's and Ethan's struggles are like, you would think.
It's so different.
Yeah.
And that's because autism is a spectrum, it's a wide spectrum, and every kid with autism is different, And there's some needs that Ethan needs to learn that, like simple as reading or writing his name. And like for Everly, she's like writing her name and talking. Ethan was nonverbal. It's just so crazy,
Yeah.
So it's a blessing for me to be able to stay home with my kids. I really don't want to be like, of course, everybody wants to like do things in life, go to college, have a nice job. But I honestly, right now, I just don't see that for me, because I want to be with my kids as much as I can. And
would you say that that's the most fulfilling thing in your life? Your kids
100%.
and your family and your house?
100%. My kids are.
Are you seen that video with the girl, bring back the patriarchy, with what's his name on TikTok?
Yeah.
Do you agree on that?
I
I
don't.
think
I mean, it's crazy how people, some girls think. I mean, and I know to each their own.
no, I think she was talking about like actually bring back the patriarchy and
Yeah.
bring back the father in the
Oh,
houses and the
uh-huh.
stay-at-home
Uh-huh.
moms and all
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with that.
And it's totally acceptable
And
if you're
I understand that not a lot of people are blessed enough to have, one income be
yeah.
enough and they have to work, and that's completely understandable. But for me, I am blessed to have you. You work hard and you're able to provide for us, and you're a great provider. And I'm able to stay home with my kids and, be there for them. Be there for them at school, at home, everything, therapies, their practices, everything. And that's just, I mean, I'm happy. I'm happy to be there for them.
So what is one thing that you know, let's say you're talking to another couple or another family, and what is something that you would tell the husband, hey, boy, if you want her to understand or to really be part of this endeavor with you, what would you tell him? Hey, like tell her this or
I feel like the main key is to communicate. He needs to really sit her down and communicate with her and be like, this is the goals that I want for us. This is what I want. If you're going to be there for me, supporting me, we're going to get there as a family. Because you can't just do your thing and not, you know, get home late and not tell your wife, well, I'm doing this because for this, and this reason.
yeah.
You have to set that conversation straight. Let them know your goals. Obviously I know your goals and I'm supporting you, and I know you're gonna get there because you're so smart. I always tell you this. I believe in you, and for that reason is why I'm supporting you, and you do what you got to do. I take care of the kids at home.
And I guess every relationship's different, right?
It is
Yeah, I
different.
mean,
Not everyone thinks the same.
there's women that are
They don't have that
more
same mindset.
driven than guys. There's guys that are
and
mean,
that's
not,
completely fine.
yeah, yeah. I mean, there's stay-at-home dads now that is fine. Everybody to each their own.
Every situation is different. Like for me, my main thing, my kids are grown. Well, they're all school age kids. But I still, I feel blessed that I'm able to be home with them for that reason, that I feel like my kids still need me.
Let, I was gonna touch this up. Well, I'll touch it. So the Bible says for the wife to be submissive to the husband. How do you feel about that? I think it sounds it's gonna get so misinterpreted, but
Yeah.
I think in a way it's the biblical roles, right? Of you provide and you nurture and I provide. I think that's what it boils down to. We don't even have to touch that.
Yeah,
I think it's real
I
simple.
think that's what.
I think people overthink it.
Yeah.
Oh.
And there's like all these people making a huge deal about it when it's like, I feel like for a marriage to thrive, it's like you have to really communicate each other's needs. I'm gonna tell you, hey, like this is bothering me, blah 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 blah, blah, so on and so forth. And as long as you're clear with me on what you're doing, then there shouldn't be an issue. And I feel like that should be the same for everyone.
Yeah.
Communication is key.
Do you think that this because I think it comes in a way it looks like a pattern as in the way you're raised, because I mean your sisters kind of support their husbands the same
Oh
way.
yeah,
Your mom's very
always, since I was a young girl. But she's the type of lady that cannot stay home and she cannot be sitting down. She has to be like doing
Active.
something. She's active. But I mean, she's a great wife. She works, she gets home, she cooks, she does everything for everyone there. And she's someone I look up to. She really is. She's someone I look up to, and she's a great, great wife.
yeah.
But she's always active. She's able to stay home. My dad has never forced her to work, has never told her, hey, you need to work, I need help. Never. She just cannot stay home.
Still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's always been active. She's always worked. I think she's only been off work for like maybe 2 years, but she's always been working. Always, always. But my sisters are. They're big. I mean, they support their husbands 100%.
Do you think did you consider yourself, do you, masculinity wise, do you think it plays a role? I mean, I guess you can't answer that question because I don't
I
know.
feel like you're. I mean, like, what do you mean? Like, can you elaborate?
I don't know. It sounded really good in my head, but when it came out, it didn't sound so good. I don't know. Just I guess feminism and like natural. You obviously you very feminine, and I think I'm more of a masculine man, or there's a lot more masculinity. You know,
Like a leader, kind of?
maybe
Or,
I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know. I just
100%. I feel like you. I don't know. Like, yeah. Like, dominance? Is that what you mean? Or, like,
no. I don't know.
I mean, well, yeah, you're like the leader of our family. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, we talk things and we agree, we come to an agreement, but at the end of the day, like, I feel like you're,
You know that I'm gonna make the best decision for
yes,
us.
exactly.
Yeah.
We both make the decisions, but I always kind of like your input, like, like I respect your input a lot, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we got
And it's
anything
not
else?
because I don't have a say in any of this, because I do, and you make
Well,
that
yeah.
clear, I mean, you make that clear 100%.
Every decision
you
that is made,
me as a wife, as a mom, and you respect, my whatever I have to say.
it's kind of like that, like Spartan. Do you remember the movie Spartan?
Mm-hmm.
Whenever he kicks the guys in the hole.
No, I don't remember that part.
So Spartan, he's gonna the messengers, and they're asking him to bow down and everything. You remember Freddie? And the messengers, the messengers
That
are
could just be cut off.
the messengers are like how dare this woman talk to me? And obviously Leonidas is the king, right?
Uh-huh.
And he puts him around this big sinkhole that they have,
Uh-huh.
and he looks back at his wife, and she's like gives him the nod, like, yeah, fuck him
Yeah.
up,
Yeah.
and he kicks him in there, and that's how the war starts. But at the end of the day, what I'll go back, what that means is that whatever decision is made in this house, whether 90% of them I make them, it's consulted from both of us, you know.
It's never like just a one side.
Yeah. Like,
thing.
shut up and I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, no, never.
Sometimes it might get a little heated and we might go back and forth on our points of views.
On a lot of things,
yeah.
But it's always
we come to an agreement.
We come to an agreement. But I do want to touch base on the whole autism thing, because it is April, and I do want to bring more awareness, because I feel like we didn't really talk about it too much. But I want to ask you, how do you feel as a dad? I always see all this autism awareness and on the mom's point of view.
Yeah.
But I would like to, know how you feel and how.
Well, I told you before, I mean, it's, to me, I'm a firm believer that we can't change the world, but we could change what's ours, right? So I'm not going to, I try not to cater. I think I do to a certain extent. Mm-hmm. I do cater, but I try not to. And at the end of the day, the reason is because Ethan's a teenager now, right? He's gonna come. So why am I gonna make his life easy at home? And not, I don't say I put him through struggles, right? But I mean, there's a time that I'm not gonna be there.
Yeah.
And he has to value his own self, and it sounds, I've seen the world. I've met many people, different backgrounds. I've met people. With me being Mexican, one of my closest friends was a skinhead back in the days. I mean,
and that was from the military.
I've met all kinds of people.
Yeah.
In the military, and different, some of the worst people that I've met were probably the closest to me, or at one point or another. But at the end of the day, the world is tough, right? The world is, they don't care if he's autistic. I mean, it's and we see this every single day on the news, social media. Like, it just seems to be getting worse and worse. But the only thing we could do is we could fix our own. We could teach our kids to respect, and we could teach our kids to defend themselves and to
Yeah.
fight for what's right, right? And that's a big reason why I tell you, hey, let's take them to jiu-jitsu, whether they like it or not, which today we kind of missed because we forgot and it's been raining.
Well, we didn't forget, but it was just really the weather's really bad.
But, at the end of the day, who's to say that, God forbid, we die right now?
Yeah.
If we die right now, they have to. Nobody's gonna take care. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's my brother, sister, my mom, your brother, your sisters. They're not gonna take care of them as good as we will.
Yeah.
So we need to make it tough for them, or else somebody's gonna make it tougher. That is my point of view. And that doesn't mean Emiliano is gonna get the same. He's not on the spectrum. To me, it's all the same. Right, there are things that I cater, and there are things that I'll take my time more. But I think the more I expect, me, right, me as a father figure, and I think I told you this before, and as a father, Everly is a whole different game. I'll tell you guys right now. So as a father, to me, my job is to make Emiliano and Ethan as tough and as give them the right tools for them to defend themselves, be providers, and be godly men, right? Everybody's definition of that, it might be different. To me, is to do right when nobody's looking, to be a good person, be a good human being, but to be able to defend yourself and to be able to do what you have to do. That means whatever they have to do to make things right and to defend themselves.
Right.
Right? And then for Everly,
hold on. And that's your way of, making him do things out of his comfort zone.
oh yeah, 1000%.
Because I feel like I'm the one that's like catering to everything
And I think we talked about it today.
Yeah.
She said, so she went to school today for Everly's mom and daughter breakfast or whatever. And she said she saw Emiliano there. And then she was like, oh, I'm just here for a meeting. Because she didn't want him to make him feel bad.
I mean.
And what did I say? I said, no, you need to tell him he's a young man. He's a young kid. They need to learn that whenever it's something for him, it's going to be for him. And it's not for him, then it's not for him. No need to cry about it. No need to complain about it. If it's not for you, it's not for you, right? Life gives us these great examples of that. There's people born with everything in the world and lose it all. And there's people born with nothing in the world and gain it all. So either you play the victim card or you be proactive and take what's yours. And I think that's what it boils down to, right? Mm-hmm. I think that's what it boils down to. Life is tough, and we need to make it tough on them because we're able to control how much toughness we give them, how much love, and counterbalance and justify and have good boundaries to where I was tough on you today, but this is why, instead of.
And I think we've applied that.
Yeah.
I don't think we have an issue there. It's just
and I think now that we're talking about the dynamic of it is, I'm the tough one and you're the nice one, right? You're the one that's gonna be like, well, your dad did this because, and I'm just like,
gentle parenting here.
And I'm like, no, but
and you're like, fuck no.
But I mean, at the end of the day, it's one of those that I say something and they do. They look at them. I said, no, don't look at your mom. But I think that's how it should work, right?
Yeah.
I think they understand.
They have a little balance of both.
Yeah. Should sometimes I do more? I think so. Make it a little bit more tough on them, which I think we talked about that, having Ethan do his own laundry and stuff like that. I'm a firm believer in not paying them for chores. No.
We don't do any
what's
of
it
that,
called?
and I believe that also.
What's it called when... like an allowance, why am I gonna give you an allowance for making your bed? That's something you do every day.
Exactly.
That's doing the bare minimum. And I think if we could get that in their brain, not to I listened to a video today. It says people that thrive do not do the bare minimum. They always ask themselves, how can I do this better? How can I go above and beyond this? And it could be something very simple. Yeah. Like I'm a firm believer in if somebody lets you borrow something, return it in a better manner or in a better shape than what they gave it to you, or if you go somewhere, make sure you leave it better than what it was before. But I think as long as we bring that to them and they learn that,
it's a good thing to learn, good quality.
But you are the nicer one.
I am the nicer one, and They know
which
it.
is good.
Okay, so another thing is, what are some things that bother you as an autism parent? Like comments from other people who might not just understand or really educated on the subject, like comments.
I don't know. I guess I had to be there on the spot, but I don't. I think we talked about. There's things that is like no, like
No se ve que tenga nada.
yeah, like or maybe I don't know. But I mean, I think that's one of the most typical ones.
And I
Like,
think it's a lot, very common in like the Hispanic community,
oh yeah,
you know,
yeah.
because they always want to say, oh, es que está tontito, o de
Well,
que ay está un poquito lento, or like he's kind of slow, or
now that you mention it, I think I told you my uncle.
mm-hmm,
A lot of the same things that Ethan liked, he liked,
yeah.
and he passed away many years ago. But man, he was. Everybody would say that he hated school first of all, and they'd be like, "Hey, well,
Well, he
you."
was never diagnosed, all right.
No,
So
no,
it
no,
was
no.
just like
This is
you
just
guys
me.
think,
This is me,
yeah,
me
putting
personally,
things
not
together
people,
now
just
that
me.
yeah,
Me with my experience with Ethan and Everly is me putting mostly Ethan, right?
yeah,
Because I think boys and men, when it comes to that, kind of resemble a little bit. Yeah,
you know,
I think it manifests itself differently.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
but so my uncle, I mean, he was not good at school. He'd be like, I just hate going to school. I just want to sleep. And I was little, and I recall this. I mean, I wasn't that little, but
yeah.
uh, but man, he was good at computers. I mean, he could do whatever he wanted on a computer. And, like Ethan, like people are like, well, you don't know how to, like Ethan doesn't know how to read yet. Well, no, but I mean, he probably knows 100% more of history than you do and you will
Oh
ever
yeah.
learn.
He'll talk to Alexa and he'll talk to Siri. He
And
can't
learn.
type, but he'll be like,
He adapts and
"What
overcomes.
happened in 19 Alexa? What happened in 1940?" Or
Yeah. He knows
and
the
he
bubonic
learns.
plague, World War
Oh
II.
yeah,
When he
anything that has
was
to do with pandemics, he's like obsessed.
when he was what, maybe 10, 9, 8,
Yeah, like
around that age.
around
He
10.
knew every president on every
He
bill. You could ask
knows. He
him,
was obsessed
hey,
with
who's on
money.
the $20 bill? Who's on 100? And he'll tell you right away. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's crazy.
it just,
He's so smart. People, look at him. Well, to me, as a mom, I have a lot of family who are like, oh well, he looks normal. Oh well, he looks fine. Oh well, like, are you sure he's on the spectrum? Oh yeah, habla bien. He speaks really well. But they don't understand the years that it took for him to get there. The therapies,
the
the
struggles.
struggles.
Yeah.
I mean, he was nonverbal until he was almost 7 years old. And then one day he just decided he wanted to start talking. Like he started putting one or two words together, which is
And now he puts like
mind-blowing.
1,000 in a second.
And now he won't be quiet. We're like, oh, when is he gonna be quiet?
Yeah.
But it's just crazy how the brain works, And Everly, we thought she was like perfectly fine, and
Yeah.
then out
Until
of
she got a
nowhere,
shot. The vaxxers, anti-vaxxer. It's kind of crazy,
it's
I
crazy
don't,
because
want to say.
Everly knew words, a lot of
Yeah.
words when she was a baby, and then when she turned 2, we noticed that she stopped
Like,
talking.
yeah,
Like everything.
we
she
had
lost it all
we had a dog. We had a Great Dane that she grew up with, and it was fine until a certain time, and then it was like,
at the age of 2.
if anything
At the
moves
age of
and
2.
has hair that is
Oh.
not my dad, I hate it.
Yes, and it's not like, oh, I'm scared. No, it's like
Like,
she screams and she's like shaking and she's petrified of like anything that moves that's not a
well, she's
human.
doing a lot better now.
She is. She's more independent now that she started school. So, fun fact: whenever we enrolled her for pre-K, when we moved
We
to
literally
Oklahoma,
got kicked out of school.
She literally got kicked out. Yeah, like literally, they called me and they're like, "Come pick up your daughter."
Yeah.
That's how bad it was.
They're like, oh, well, you guys, you know what? She could take a year off. It's okay.
Yeah, she had a meltdown in the lunchroom, and I think it was because it was too loud and it was overwhelming for her. And when I picked her up, oh my God, it was crazy.
Yeah, so she took off a year,
Yeah, but now she has a great
which I
teacher.
think it worked out good.
It did because I mean I didn't mind keeping her another year.
Yeah.
But it kind of is heartbreaking because whenever we enrolled her to school, she was still on the process of getting evaluated. So we weren't sure if she was on the spectrum or not. So we needed answers. You know, we knew because of Ethan,
Yeah.
but we also weren't 100% sure. So it's just crazy.
So going to the topic of Everly, I mean, Everly's different. You know, we go back to Rose, and to me, Everly doesn't need to worry about providing. If she doesn't have anybody to provide for her, I'll provide for her until I die. I mean, simple. And that's the plan. If I die, there's gonna be something that I leave behind that I'll provide for her.
Mm-hmm.
Simple. Emiliano and Ethan, they could go chase whatever wealth they want to chase. But at the end of the day, if I die tomorrow, everything I have goes to her. They'll have the strength to make it, and hopefully I taught them right to do what they got to do.
Right.
I mean, that's.
And we both agree on that.
I think none of this. I'm gonna call it none of this feminist bullshit that she has to work her way up. Whatever. No. I mean, if whatever she chooses when she gets older, I hope it's done in a manner of what we instilled in them, the morals and the values we instilled in them. But to me, you know, my goal is to build enough for them, for her. Because like I said, Emiliano and Ethan, they'll have to go get it themselves because they're men. But Everly, she'll be set, hopefully. That's the goal. We'll see. All we can do is reach for it.
I think back, you know, like 2 years ago, and how we were going to walk and she wouldn't even walk. My back hurts because
Yeah, she would never get
I have
off.
to carry her everywhere.
Yeah,
And it's just how much she's grown, you know, how much she's
in
really,
a year.
like in a year.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
this is why I always say early intervention is key whenever your kid gets diagnosed with autism, because whenever you get a new diagnosis, and as a parent you really don't know how to deal with it, you know, like whenever we found out about Ethan, I had to learn everything, you know, about it. I had to start looking for therapies, for any services that he could possibly get. But I mean, teaching them, you know, just the simplest thing that could be like something that any other kid could learn, like that.
Yeah.
You know, simple as walking by yourself on the sidewalk.
On
Like
the
she
road,
couldn't
yeah.
do that. She couldn't do that. You know, or holding a fork, or you know,
I mean,
crazy.
she changed. When she was starting going to school, I think. Well, we go back to kind of forcing them to be uncomfortable. I think that was one of the biggest things.
Yeah, because the first year it was really hard for her.
Yeah.
Even after she got kicked out when she started again,
Yeah.
it was really hard for her. And
But she
same
was a
with
little
Ethan.
bit older. She's a little bit more. Yeah, Ethan. I remember. Ethan cried
man,
for
half a year.
half a year.
Ethan cried half a year. They had to put an aide that he had every single morning outside waiting for him.
She was the only one that would pick him up.
She was the only one that would get him. And if she missed school or she was sick or whatever, oh my God, it was hell. It was hell for them. And I felt terrible. I mean, I knew that I had to leave him at school, and
part of growth.
Part of growth. But Ethan, it was tough with him.
But at the end of the day, they're no different.
I feel like it was harder than Everly with Ethan.
Yeah.
Very much so.
We go back to my theory is our job is to make them as well developed as we possibly can. Obviously, you know what? I might not have all the tools, but
yeah,
my intentions are good.
Mm-hmm.
I think our intentions are good, and I mean, you know, this platform. You know, we're talking about autism awareness and everything. It's not just. It's whatever gets hard that we can help out with. You know, even. You know, having the troubles of raising kids or family members with some type of I hate to call it a disease or something. To me, I mean
a condition.
a condition. A disease.
You serious?
I'll tell you, I'm
It's not.
retarded.
It's a condition.
With the condition, right? At the end of the day, you can too, right? So we need to prepare ourselves. It's a commercial.
Oh no.
At the end of the day, you can too. We did it. It's a growing pain. There's growing pains in everything.
Yeah.
Don't abort. Have them.
Oh my god, you're crazy. You're.
Dark humor is my best humor. Remember, you got anything else?
I mean, yeah, but
What you got? Spit it out.
no, I mean, we could save it for another day, but I do want to dive deeper into like the whole thing. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a list. I'm not quite ready. There's a
Okay.
lot of things I want to talk about, and it comes to my kids because that's you have your goal and I have my goal. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We each have our topics of interest, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. But yeah, I mean, I think that's it. I think you're a great dad.
And you're a good wife and a great mother for sure.
Thank you.
1000%.
And husband. He's an amazing husband.
I think that's it. I mean, Freddie, you got anything? No.
You want to say anything? Have anything to say? As you're good? Okay. Perfect.
Freddie's in the background. The guy on the desk. The guy on the computer. Man, that's it.
Freddie
Quick.
understands. Freddie's little brother has a bunch of therapy to,
Yeah. He went
lot
through
of
it. He's going
struggles.
through it.
Yep.
He's learning now and it has been improving. Like, it's nothing easy.
It's not easy at all.
Therapy, like, I just see it, and it has been helping him now a lot because he has been learning words and speaking both languages now, and numbers and letters and stuff. And
Yeah.
it's a great help.
Yeah.
So
100%. 100%.
Well, I mean, just a quick recap. Communication is key.
Mm-hmm.
Clear mission. I think if as a husband, our job is to have the mission clear. That way, everybody's on board.
Right.
Don't lose sight of the target. Be a dream team. And man, keep your role straight.
Yeah.
And it
I
don't
mean-
matter if you're a stay-at-home dad. I mean, if that's your role, that's your role.
Good for you. I mean, but yeah, I think the main thing is just communication, being on board, knowing exactly what you're trying to do.
And then struggles with
And-
kids.
There's struggles with any, neurotypical.
But
and
these are a little different. I mean, they can be. I think the biggest thing when it
Ethan
comes
is
to,
like 8 kids and 1, by the way.
I think the biggest thing that I feel that might get people discouraged when it comes to raising kids on the spectrum is one, the judgmental part of people. That they're like, oh, why, you remember when we used to go and Ethan would stim and just kick the chair, which I've always been hey, don't do that type of guy. But at the same time, it's like, well, dang, I mean, I can't.
You've never told him to stop when he's stimming. That's one thing. Oh my god, I remember that freaking day, and I remember I cried.
Where at
It was
Texas
at
Roadhouse?
Chili's.
Oh, Chili's, yeah,
It was
Chili's.
at Chili's. Whenever he was younger, he wasn't able to verbalize his feelings, emotions, or whatever. So when we would go to a restaurant, he would start stimming, and by stimming will be like he will be
Jumping.
kicking, jumping, bouncing, rocking, anything. And we were in a booth, and this freaking lady turns around, and he's like, "And what did she say?"
I don't know, but
Something about
she was
"Did you-"
being an
she
asshole.
Was fucking, she was being an asshole. And a lot of people don't understand that autism doesn't have a look, and this is why I always want to bring awareness, because you might not know what that kid is going through or why he's doing what he's doing. He was just trying to regulate his emotions,
Yeah.
That's all he was trying to do. That's what stimming does. He's just trying to be in a place where he's not, where it might be too loud,
Too exciting.
too exciting. And people don't understand, and people are cruel. And, and that day was so heartbreaking for me how,
I mean, she cocked back with an attitude,
yeah.
but I mean, it was bad.
Yeah. But I've never told my kids not STEM. If they want to STEM, they're gonna fucking STEM. I don't give a shit what other people think. Sorry for
Passionate.
my cursing, but I mean,
Yeah.
it gets me kind of heated. But yeah, and as for Everly, I don't think she's ever been to like hardcore stimmer like Ethan.
No.
I think her is like just like spinning around. But what I did notice about her is that she would cry every time we would go to like a restaurant.
Oh yeah, not anymore. Not really.
Anymore. But when
But
she was
before,
younger,
now she says it's too loud.
it's too loud. Yeah.
Before she would get cry.
And that's when she was nonverbal.
Yeah.
You know, so I feel like a lot of the times they melt down because they can't communicate. You know.
Yeah.
And she'd cry for like an hour, and she just wanted me to carry her and nobody else. So I had to deal, like every time I go to out to eat with like family or with Francisco, I was just like kind of like, oh, I know she's gonna start crying, like, you know,
Yeah.
kind of dreading the moment where like, oh, okay, calm down. I know it's, and we tried headphones, we tried everything we could, but she was just crying all the time.
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly what happened at school. That's why they kicked her out.
Yeah, I mean, she cried a bunch. I mean, she was little too.
And she's loud.
She had just turned the age to be in school.
Yeah, she was what?
4.
4. Yeah.
No, yeah,
She was
4.
4?
Barely turned 4. Well,
But,
I think that wraps it up for today.
I'll come back with the list and we'll talk about.
Yeah, we'll
this
chat more about the other stuff.
All right, Freddie.
See ya.